Hey everyone, welcome back to the Craft Parenting Podcast, the podcast about two Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Joe Ludwig, and I am joined by MAK, a very good friend of mine. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Maybe. Here I am. I'm MAK.
That's it?
I don't. What do you want?
Well, so we've known each other for a very long time.
Yeah.
Probably since
Birth.
Birth. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So we grew up in the Donauschwaben together.
Yeah.
Which is a German cultural group.
After our parents grew up in the Donauschwaben together.
Yes. Yeah. So your dad and my dad grew up together and danced in the club. And we danced in the club. We went to Germany together.
Yep.
At least once. I went with your brothers a second time.
Yeah. I only got to go the one time. Yeah.
That was fun. We went in 2006.
Yeah, 2006 to Germany, Austria, and Hungary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you currently dance, Schuhplattler?
Yes.
You dance more than I do these days.
Yeah. I've still been pretty religious about Plottlering. I had a little bit of a hiatus for a little while, and recently have gotten much farther back into it, along with getting my oldest daughter and my son, hopefully in the next few months, into it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Lily loves it. We put on YouTube videos for her, and she dances. She mimics the video of us Schuhplattering.
Yeah.
And spinning. She loves to spin. But I did want to say that there's a local Cincinnati podcast. We kind of talked about this before we started recording. But there's a local Cincinnati podcast that recaps other Cincinnati craft beer podcasts. It's very meta. And they call me the Michael Jackson of German dancing. But your dad, I feel like should take that title, or
Possibly.
a better title than that.
Yeah, as far as I can remember back, my dad's always been dancing. And as far as I've heard stories, at least for the past probably around 40 years, he's been through the Donauschwaben's youth group into the Schuhplattlers. I always grew up, your dad too, watching him do the Schuhplattlers.
Yeah. And
was eager to go and do it with him. And I think now it's one of the coolest things. I've been Plottlering with my dad for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
He's 40 years in, still going
he
strong.
taught me too. Yeah. So I dance with him as well.
I think
not with him, alongside him.
I think he's pretty much taught everybody.
Yeah.
Since,
him and
I can't even remember when.
I guess the as far as seniority goes, Hansi would be the one below your dad, and there's like a huge age gap between them.
Yeah.
So, as far as, there are others, but they moved away and stuff.
Yeah, it's weird too. Now I'm 31, and I've become one of the more senior guys in there too.
Yeah, and it's not an easy thing to do, Schuhplattling.
No. It's
a lot of the guys have to quit because their doctor is like, hey, your knees can't handle this.
I start feeling like I'm out of shape at the end of a practice anymore. I'm out of breath. I've been chugging water through the whole thing. I don't know how my dad gets through it.
Yeah. But he's been doing it, 40 years?
I think about 40 years. I went back and did
40.
the math on when he would have been starting just Plottlering, would have been about 40 years ago.
He was a founding member. I think they went to Pittsburgh. Is that right?
I don't recall.
Or St. Louis? They went to a different city to learn how to do it.
Yeah, and then brought it back to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly which city.
And now him and my mom used to do it too. Remember? So did your mom.
Yeah.
I can't remember a time when my mom was Plottlering though, really, because she had a bunch of back problems. But
well, ever since her car accident, I think she stopped.
Really.
She would always. She would be the leader for the middle group.
Yeah, she still is the leader of the middle group.
And then she would come over and watch because of her medical issues. My dad stopped because of his knee.
Yeah.
And then he tried to join me on my wedding day, and that didn't end up well.
Wait, didn't he end up He ended up on the floor, right? What happened?
He tore his Achilles tendon.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Might
he
have been some
had
consumption that
surgery
night,
when I was on my honeymoon,
Yeah.
and no one told us. But we aren't talking about German dancing, although we could probably have an entire episode about growing up.
Through the Donauschwaben.
We probably could.
Traveling, people.
We traveled a ton throughout the Midwest. But we have another great show planned out this week in honor of Father's Day. We are going to talk all about being a dad and what that means. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started. All right, so before we talk about that, we have some adult beverages in front of us. So MAK, why don't you tell the audience what you are drinking?
I have I believe, Nelson Savon Single Hop Double IPA from West Side. It's very quickly become one of my favorite beers.
That's right. I totally forgot. By the way, we are recording live on location at West Side Brewing. We are getting our beer fresh from the tap.
Directly from the source.
Yes. And it is, I love West Side Brewing. And it is trivia night. So we have to, I think we're taking up valuable real estate for the trivia.
We might have to kick it up a notch.
Yeah. But do you remember what ABV that is? I think it's like 9.3.
Yeah.
It's a big beer.
It's 9 something, I believe. In fact, I could probably tell you because I like to read about it where I'm drinking it. 9.3 and 81 IBU.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I am drinking from my West Side Mug Club mug. I am drinking a Pilsner, which is very basic compared
which
to
is
what
still
you're drinking.
good.
Yeah.
I actually have a 6-pack of the Pilsner in my refrigerator at home right now.
It's a good beer.
Yeah. Very solid.
So now that we know what we're drinking, let's move on. All right. So now it is time for What's Bugging Us in Children's TV, where we will talk all about the lack of physics and logic in children's TV. And you're laughing because you know it's true.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's no logic in children's TV.
None at all.
But I'm going to rant about Barney. And I know Barney is kind of this mythical thing that doesn't exist anymore. But my parents brought it back. And Caroline's parents brought it back.
Oh, gosh.
So as a kid, I was obsessed with the show. But as an adult, it's super annoying. So my mother-in-law and my mom both watched the kids during the week. And magically, they both had the idea at the same time, basically, to introduce the kids to Barney. And now our kids really like it. Lily even asks for it sometimes, which is like, oh no.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mom. So being a certified cheap ass, I refuse to pay for Barney. So when we do watch it, we watch it on YouTube. So it's out there. It's on YouTube. It's for free. I'm kind of weird. I don't want my kids watching modern TV shows.
No.
I like to know what they're watching, and I had a younger sister, so I grew up in the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse era. She used to watch that, so that's why my kids watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And even Sesame Street and Barney, anything on YouTube, I always look for the early 2000s, 90s version episode. If it looks super old, I probably grew up with it. It's probably safe. Okay, so the other day, my mother-in-law, who watches the kids upstairs, I work downstairs, she randomly picked an episode of Barney on YouTube, and I came upstairs, and on this episode, they were talking about what they wanted to be when they grew up. And it was this modern Barney. It wasn't the same voice. It was a weird voice. It was Barney, BJ, Baby Bop, and they had a live studio audience. Okay, I've never seen this before. So, and one of the songs, I was cooking dinner, and then I was just casually listening. BJ, one of the characters, they were singing about what they wanted to be when they grew up. And BJ wanted to be a rock star. And in his song, he says something to the effect of not wanting to be a doctor. He wants to be a rock star, play guitar,
Yeah.
And they specifically call out the doctor and say, "No, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to do this. I want to be." So basically, this was a Barney episode. It was very recent. So anyway, I got fed up with it. I'm like, come on. So I turned it off, and I turned on a Barney special from 1994, Imagination Island. It was the first primetime Barney special. I think it aired on NBC in primetime. It was a very big deal. I was reading about it because I remember watching this when I was a kid. So I turned it off. I turned on Imagination Island, which was a special from 1994. And in this special, one of their first songs was about how they can, quote, go anywhere and be anyone. So I guess my problem with this is, what the hell happened to kids' TV between 1994 and now, where the Barney then is like, you can be anything you want, but the Barney now is like, being rich and famous and being a performer is better than being a doctor.
Jeez.
Like, what? That's not the message I want my kids to know. I don't know. It kind of grinded my gears, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the classic stuff. I don't watch. I know your kids are into Encanto and the newer Disney.
And, well, I screen what they watch. I mean, they really get Bluey, Encanto, all the old movies. We have Disney Plus. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was on repeat in our house for a long time, and we finally just about got that out of rotation.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now, I've seen Encanto at least 70, if not 80 times.
I don't know what the plot is, so I don't know if it's...
I would actually highly recommend getting a chance to watch it. It's a pretty good movie.
Okay.
And the music, as far as Disney music goes, the music is kind of jamming. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do not recommend cartoons or kids shows often, because it's just, I don't know. I've just not found very many of them super entertaining until that one was like, oh man, this is almost like old Disney.
Okay, so we'll check that out.
Yeah.
But there's another one. There's it's basically Mulan, but it's not. It's like something in the dragon.
Oh, you're talking about Raya and the Last Dragon then?
Yeah.
I have seen that one too, and it's not bad.
I haven't seen that. We haven't seen any of that.
Oh, really?
We watch Toy Story a lot.
Yeah.
Toy Story 2. Lily likes Jessie, the character.
Mm-hmm.
We don't watch Toy Story 3 because that's just sad. I remember crying in the theater like, oh my God. This is not for kids.
And for the adults, Toy Story 4, the last one,
We haven't seen that. We have Disney Plus. We haven't even seen Toy Story 4.
You haven't seen that one yet?
No.
Oh my gosh. For adults, in the ending, like, my kids make fun of me, but I don't want to spoil it for you. And the ending of it is like, it'll tear your heartstrings apart.
Oh my God. They already did that in Toy Story 3.
Oh, it's worse.
It's worse?
It's worse.
They almost got melted.
It's like, there's
Spoilers.
it's not so much a physical fear of the toys, ending, but yeah.
It had such a perfect ending in Toy Story 3.
It was. Well, and so I guess I'm thinking about Toy Story 3 when Andy, leaves. Yeah, that ripped me apart. But then Toy Story 4, there's another character that leaves and goes off and does his own thing, and I don't know, it gets you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll have to eventually.
You're going to have a movie night and get a chance to watch it.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on. That's what's bugging me this week. Is Barney. I'm sure we'll rant more about Barney in the future.
I'm glad we haven't been down that road.
Before we talk about being a dad, let's. Your glasses are empty. Your glass is empty. My glass is almost empty. Let's take a quick break.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we are back. And you have a full glass. What are you drinking?
I have, on your recommendation now, the smoked cerveza, which I have to say is living up to its name.
Yeah.
I have a problem with smoked beers not giving me that full, smoky,
Yeah, West Side,
flavor.
they do smoked beer. They have a Rausch beer.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had that?
No, I don't think so.
It's an acquired taste for sure. It's very smoky.
Yeah. Smoked beers. When they deliver, that's where it's at. When they fall short of the smoke, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I don't think they use like the fake smoke flavoring that you sometimes get in chili.
Smoke.
Yeah.
Drop of liquid smoke.
I think they actually smoke the malt.
Yeah.
And that's how they get their smoke. It's
It
very
is
in
good.
your face smoky.
Oh, yeah.
The Rausch beer. This I would have to have it again to remember, but I didn't think that was in your face.
No, it's not super in your face, but the smoke definitely comes through along with the flavor of the beer. It's very well balanced.
That's like the complete opposite of what you had before.
Oh yeah, way off.
But
I like to bounce around.
Okay, well that's cool. I have a Pilsner again. Because, yeah. I almost got that though. I might get that. Depends on how long we stay here.
We can drink beer all day.
We can. We don't even have to record. But let's talk about being a dad.
All right.
Because that's kind of why we're here. It's Father's Day is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Our wedding anniversaries are pretty much
When?
really close.
When's your anniversary again?
The 20th.
The 20th. Oh yeah, mine's on the 17th.
Yeah, so we're really close. I don't think we got married Father's Day. I think Father's Day was the week before, maybe. But you got married.
The day before Father's Day is when I got married.
Yes.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, because Father's Day was on a Sunday, and
you got married.
we got married on a Saturday. Yep.
But let's take a step back. Let's talk briefly about your family and what it was like growing up. Like, how many siblings did you have?
Well, I mean, I grew up with 3 little brothers.
Yeah, so you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest. Each one of my brothers were all 2 years apart. So, I turned 31 this year. My next brother's 29. The next one's 27. And the next one's, 25.
By the way, holy shit, John got married?
Yeah, John got married, dude. Very
Alex?
small ceremony, only like 18, 19 people there. But yeah, John got married. Alex bought a house.
Alex is looking really good.
Yeah,
I'm inspired.
My brother's weight loss journey is just phenomenal. I couldn't be more proud of that kid. He's so much healthier than he's ever been.
He's like a PhD or something too, right?
He's a master's in chemistry, and he just got his he had a big boy job, and now he's got a real big boy job.
Yeah,
bought a house. Although his technical skills kind of waned, that's where I come in. He called me. I'd already been over his house a couple of times. I had to fix his air conditioner for him twice now.
I mean,
but
I can't fix my air conditioner.
Well, I mean,
I'm a writer. Words.
Yeah,
I can do words.
My area of expertise falls in the mechanical, being a diesel mechanic, and
that's right.
Yeah.
So.
And Marcus bought a condo too. I don't know if you knew that. I figured Marcus bought a condo on a lake. Go figure. The kid that
in Cincinnati
in Cincinnati. Well, just outside. It's like the Landon area or something.
I figured he wasn't living at home. I figured your parents were empty nesters at this point.
Yeah, they are. Well, and he's selling cars.
Yeah, I knew that.
He's a salesman. So
kind of a tough industry now. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I don't. He tells me all the time now because of the shortage in cars with the chip shortage situation. Yeah. Like, people just order the car they want, pay for it, and he's still doing some salesman work, but it sounds like
I will say
the cars
this:
drive
I
themselves
am
off the lot.
I will say this. I am very happy that we bought our van before COVID.
Me too. Because we bought. When did we buy?
We bought it January 2020.
Did you? Did I already have my van then, or did we buy the? I don't remember.
We were trying to haggle, and it doesn't. I guess it doesn't work.
I guess it was 2019 when we bought ours.
Okay.
Or no. It was 20, because I remember watching the news. COVID was happening in China, and then it got here, but we had bought it in that February of 2020. And
bullet dodged.
And we bought it from my brother. We got a killer deal on it, and now it's worth more money than we paid for it still.
Yeah.
So
bullet dodged.
Oh yeah.
We're good on the car front. Of course.
Maybe.
Can't drive it.
I still got to find something new for the wife, but we got to get a new house before we get into that.
Yeah. That freaks me out, getting a new house, because we're due.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Man. The house thing.
Because we're due. I mean, we always said 8 to 10 years.
Yep.
And it's been 8 years.
Well, and you guys, you're in the same position I was in, I think, where you bought into what you thought would be your starter home, and then the market explodes, and then you're like, what do I do now? Like, where am I going to go?
And so houses now are going for like
crazy money.
Way over their worth.
Crazy.
Of course, interest rates are going are going up. To
it's like 5 and 6% now, I think.
Yeah, we just refinanced down to 2.8.
Yeah.
So we're like golden.
Oh yeah, you guys are great.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy. Like if we wanted to buy a house, we would have to, if we get into the bid, right? Mm-hmm. We would have to forego an inspection, which I'm not doing.
And you have to be ready to give more money than the house is actually worth, because you've got so many people just bidding over the asking price to get into a house.
And they're foregoing the inspection, which I'm not cool with doing because the house that I'm in, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It was a mess. We knew it was a mess. Mm-hmm. In your house, it was built onto it. You basically redid your upper floor.
Yeah, I knocked down a wall. I changed a half bath to a full bath. I was a little late on it, and my wife was a little upset about it. But I got it done before the second kid was here, so.
Yeah. Yeah, houses are crazy.
Yeah.
But we are due.
Lumber. I can't imagine rehabbing my house in this lumber market either. Sorry, that's a tangent, but.
Yeah, everything is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And then if we wanted to buy, like, we're talking $500,000.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought I'd be looking at $300,000 and $400,000 houses. Like, man, this might be something we
maybe 400. I don't know.
But you start looking at it and running the numbers. It's like
that's a lot of money.
I want to pay for this, especially if the market comes back down. Then you're gonna bye.
Like to get a 2-story house, 4 bedroom, with a basement. Mm-hmm. We're talking close to $500,000.
Yeah.
like what you grew up in and what I grew up in, right?
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like brand new. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the market is, you have to forego the inspection.
Yep. Forego the inspection. Offer $20,000 more than asking. And, you got to bake the owners a cake and send them a Christmas card every year.
People do that. People write letters.
Yeah.
Hey, we can't afford.
Please help me buy your house for less than what the market says it's worth, because
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about your family.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
So
I grew up with 3 little brothers.
3 little brothers.
My mom and dad.
And your dog.
And a dog.
Yeah.
And then another dog.
Yeah.
After the first dog passed.
So you grew up in a big family. I guess that's where this question was going from.
Yep.
You had a ton of cousins.
Oh, yeah. So many cousins I can't count.
I'm not going to say your last name, but
yeah.
Their last name is known for big family. My family too. I mean, my cousins don't carry my last name, but everyone knows who they are
Mm-hmm.
and who they are a part of. Your family and my family, we carried the Donauschwaben for a very long time.
Still, there's several families related to you, families.
We still do, I
my
guess.
family and families related
In
to
some
us
ways,
that are
yeah.
very massive parts of the Donauschwaben.
Yeah, so that's where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to kind of just talk about what life was like growing up, your family life? Did you see your extended family, your grandparents, your cousins?
Yeah. Well,
what was that like?
I mean, obviously, that most of my extended family experience, came from the Donauschwaben. And I'm talking like we were close with
weekly. You saw them weekly.
Weekly saw second and third cousins, and then on top of that, my
Sometimes
immediate
more.
cousins and my brothers and sister. Like I was really close to my my great uncle at the time through the Donauschwaben too. He was a major part of my life.
Okay. This is like the most sporadic episode ever, probably. We have over 60 episodes. Did you know that?
I knew there were a few, but I didn't know how many.
Over 60.
Now, how many locations have you ever had in a single episode?
This would take the cake.
Yes.
So the trivia people kicked us out.
Not necessarily kicked out.
I mean,
It got a little loud.
She blared music,
Yeah.
so
She was like, get out.
no podcasts. You're taking up the space. So we DORA'd.
Passive aggressive.
We are in the DORA.
Westwood DORA.
That's right.
What does that stand for again? Designated Open. Oh boy,
I don't know.
it's gonna get me. Basically, you're allowed to drink in public.
That's right.
Yep, it's
so
awesome.
We are DORAing. We are across the street from West Side Brewing. We are drinking West Side Brewing.
Oh,
A third beer. This is the smoked cerveza. We are both drinking
Both
the same
on the
thing.
smoked cerveza. I'm on my second.
Yeah, it's very good.
It is. It's unnatural for me to get a second beer of the same style, but
Yeah, a lot of their tap list. It's very summery, which is fine. I mean, it is summer.
well, you
It's
want
basically summer, at least.
those lighter flavors
Yeah,
during the summer, especially a little bit of fruit, maybe some wheat beer and hazy IPAs.
I don't think they had a hazy IPA, but
No, they didn't. But
they had like a blackberry wheat or something.
I pretend to be a connoisseur of beers.
But this smoked cerveza is, as the kids say,
Oh, yeah.
bussin'.
Oh, my
No
gosh.
cap.
I'm going to bring this one home to my wife, and gosh, she's going to love it.
Did they can it, or are you going to get a growler?
I don't know if they can it or not. I might have to come back with my growler.
Oh, no. I don't know how much they have, man.
It's all right. I can come back on my way home from work probably.
Okay.
Like I will go on a journey for some good beer.
Well, we were talking about fatherhood
Oh yeah.
before the trivia people kicked us out. And you come from a very big family.
Yeah.
So what was growing up, you said that you saw your extended family quite a bit, weekly, sometimes more. I know that was the case for me.
Yeah, most likely it was weekly to occasionally more than that, especially through being involved with the Donauschwaben, the German Heritage Society. We had practice at least once a week, maybe an event over the weekend, and even after that, sometimes we just got together. I mean, we used to get together in your parents' basement all the time and and mess around and watch movies.
And we would have fires, in the backyard.
Yep.
We would have that fire pit.
Go out to movies, go ice skating, tubing.
Yeah, that was we hung out a ton.
It's crazy how much I've not seen a lot of them recently, but even my extended family. I went to a concert with my second cousin that we sat in the parking lot and pre-gamed before we went into the concert.
Of course. You don't pay the $12 or whatever it is for a Bud Light.
No, never. My goodness.
So, I mean, you come from a big family, as do
Yeah.
I. So did that impact your decision to have a family, or why did you want to?
Well, I mean, I always appreciated the family unit, especially the one that I had, because my brothers and I were so close.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. There were times where, especially when I got older, my brothers and I even got closer, where I got my license first, obviously being the oldest, and there were days that my mom and dad were working full time, and I'd tell my mom and dad, like, look, we're gonna pack up the car, my little '96 Saturn. We're gonna head out.
I remember that car.
Yeah, and man, that thing was a turd. And we'd head out and we'd just go fishing all day, and my brothers and I would just be together, hanging out, doing a little bit of fishing. And we'd be out there so late sometimes that my parents would call up and say, hey, what do you want for dinner? We're getting off work, and we're going to come out, bring you guys some KFC, and we're going to throw a couple lines in too, especially on Fridays. Why not? There's nothing else going on Saturday. But, yeah, that really, and even now, my brothers, we each have our little, everybody has their niche. With me, it's the hands-on, the mechanical, working on stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, my brother Alex is very smart when it comes to anything chemical science related, and we all have our little niche that helps each other out, and we're never afraid to call each other. And we really even, for my birthday, this past weekend on Sunday, we all ended up, we didn't all end up, but everybody was invited to go out to the lake. Some people were busy, but my brother Marcus came out, and we ended up at the lake with my kids and my wife, and the kid with him there. He keeps such a good eye on my kids and helps them out with fishing too. That to the point that I can let my son run around the lake. We all have an eye on him, but he'll be like, I'm gonna go fish with Uncle Mark. Oh, I'm going to go fish with Daddy. I'm going to go fish with Mommy. And just everybody keeps an eye. And he was calling him his Lucky Charm Sunday, because it seemed like every time my son went over to Marcus, and he was catching big fish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But.
Yeah, my sister is like that too. I mean, my kids love my baby sister. I call her my baby sister because she is 10 years younger than me. And obviously you have...
Yeah, well, John's...
It's not quite 10 years,
Not
right?
10 years. It's like 8 years, I believe.
Yeah, so she is 10 years. You don't quite have that with John, but he's pretty close. Yeah. I would say probably 8.
Yeah, something like that. Well, and it's funny, too, because I remember when we were much younger, he and I were really close, I think, just because he was impressionable enough that he paid attention to what came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Whereas, my middle two brothers, they were like, forget you. I'm not doing what you tell me to do.
I mean, Caroline swears, and I don't believe it, but apparently she swears that I called Jenna, my youngest sister, my only sister, actually, that I apparently called her my daughter. Which I don't believe that, but apparently I mean, I watched her quite a bit. I wouldn't claim that I was the primary caregiver by any means, but I did watch her quite a bit.
As an older brother, though, you fall into this role where I deal with it with my daughter now, where she wants to be the one to give instruction and even care for your younger siblings, but then at the same time, sometimes I have to yell at her and remind her, like, look, you're not their parent. Like, Mom and I are in charge here.
Right.
and it's cute, though, when they want to be that person, and it's encouraging to see that behavior out of them, because you raise your kids to be good parents. But
yeah, so let's talk about your current family unit.
Yeah.
You obviously are married.
Mm-hmm.
And how many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids. I have a 11, almost 12-year-old daughter, a 3 getting closer to 4-year-old son, and then a 1 getting close to 2-year-old daughter.
My goodness. They grow up.
Our house is very crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when you have toddlers and a pre-teenager in the house is, oh my gosh.
Like, yeah.
Always a headache.
Like, dude, that's almost high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were just in high school, I feel like.
But we weren't.
I know. Right?
We're old, guy. High school was a while ago. That was like 13 years.
I know. I feel like it was just right there, though. And college, too.
It does
right?
and it doesn't. But, yeah, so that's... And then, we just... Obviously, my wife is in there, too. And then we just picked up a dog as of a few months ago to my resistance. But he is a good dog, so...
Dogs are nice, but
yeah.
I mean, that's just one more thing to keep alive and feed.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Which is something in these times, to say the least. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about when you became a father, because you mentioned your 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah, and
you got married, and basically. You became a father on your wedding night.
Instantaneously, yes.
Yeah.
So in 2017, I married my wife, and at the time, when her and I first started dating, my to-be daughter was about 6 years old. She was 7 years old. She was 7 years old when I got married. Man, yeah. On that night, I, basically became a dad.
And you were telling us, right? I remember you in your tux, and you were like, she is going to be our, my responsibility.
Yeah. From day one, I have approached my relationship with my wife as I am not only going to be potentially her husband, but I'm potentially going to be her daughter's father. And from no point did I ever think to myself that wasn't a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
you became a father right there and then. So what was that like? How did that go about? What was it like dating with your spouse who has a daughter? What was that like?
So dating was relatively easy. But after we got married, it became a whole new situation because here I was, we had bought a house together, and my wife goes to work. Well, back then, my girlfriend at the time goes to work, and my daughter is with grandma and grandpa. Well, now here I am, all of a sudden, I'm dad, and I have to figure out how to entertain my 7-year-old daughter.
Right.
It was, I will not say there was not a learning curve. Especially,
of course, yeah. Of course there's a learning curve.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a learning curve when you have a newborn.
And
right?
Exactly. Well, and I didn't want to just... the worst thing in the world you can ever do with your kids is sit at home and stare at the TV. It's necessary to keep your sanity from time to time. But the most important thing, I think, was to get out and start to, if you want to go outside and play on the playground or explore the woods or... start getting more carried away, try to do things like fishing, or especially for me, fishing. Fishing has been a huge part of my life from the beginning. My dad and my grandparents have gotten me through that.
I mean, you try to get me to do it.
Yeah.
Which is...
I'll still try again. You want to go? We can bring your kids.
I have a lot of growlers. I have a lot of empty growlers in my quote library.
Yeah.
That I could fill up.
I mean... We were just out there this past weekend, and we slayed some fish. But, it's one of those things that you can't overdo trying to create memories with your children, because then you're just going to burn them out on everything. Everybody needs downtime to process and, to have the downtime to understand just how important your special times and your family times are.
Right.
But there's always that balance, and finding that balance is just, you never know when you're there. It's one of those things that I always find myself calling my dad, like, Dad, you were right. I hate to say it, but you were right. You were right about this. You were right about that. Like, I'm sorry that I mouthed off to you when I was this age, because I am now in this age and I get mouthed off to, and it's like, girl, you don't even know what your grandfather would say. You don't even know the kind of punishment.
Like, I can't even imagine, like, getting married and then having a child just,
Yeah,
like all
just
of a sudden,
instantaneously, overnight, it's like we moved
and
in
obviously
together.
that was part of the deal. Obviously,
Yeah. There was,
so,
yep. But yeah, man. And then there was the next one.
right. How many years later was that? Was it
My son came about a year later.
a year later?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We found out we were expecting in the end of 2017, actually, the year that we did get married.
Okay.
And then we had my son in 2018.
He was a big boy.
He was a huge boy. He was
How many pounds at birth?
11 pounds, 6 ounces, and 27 some odd or 28 some odd inches long. He was a big boy, and he is still a big boy to this day. Like, and I'm not, my wife and I are not like, we are larger people, not like
Tall.
wide people, but I'm about 6 foot. She's 5'9",
She's really
5'10",
tall, yeah.
maybe even more than that. And she's one of the shorter ones of her family. Like her dad is like 6'6",
Yeah.
or something like that. By using the general calculations when it comes to your kids, where they're so many percentage of their total height, expected height, by the time they're 3, like, my boy's probably going to be easily over 6 foot. And I'm just ballparking here, but he's probably going to be at least 230, 240. It'll be, he's absolutely allowed to do and pursue whatever he wants to do. But it might be a crime if the boy doesn't play football.
I mean, that's so hard,
Yeah.
when you decide. When do you decide that, right?
Yeah.
Sports. I mean, you have a almost teenager, preteen, right?
Yeah.
So
11, going to be 12.
like, how do you decide? Like, my
Well,
parents, they were like, you're going to do everything. You're going to do
Yeah.
soccer, you're going to do t-ball, you're going to
Yeah.
do Boy Scouts, you're going to do
Well,
donut schwab and dancing. You're going to do everything under the sun. And we're just going to throw spaghetti at the wall
let's see what sticks.
and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nothing stuck.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, nothing stuck. I'm a writer, not a sports person. I also did volleyball, by the way. That was okay, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So my oldest has had it, she really has had it good, because with her siblings being so young, she's been allowed to try everything from like scouting style stuff to volleyball and soccer and basketball and track, and my goodness, what else have we done? We've done so much I can't even remember. But for the past probably about 2 years, since she was about 9 years old, 10 years old, I've been telling her, like, look, you need to prepare for the fact that come high school, you're probably going to need a thing, maybe 2 things. But like, and she's obviously involved in the donut schwab and dancing too. And I've told her frequently, like, your brother and sister are coming up on your heels. We're starting your brother into, like a instructional soccer thing.
Yeah.
Probably into lollipop in the next year or 2. Like, we are going to be, and I don't lie to her about it, we're going to be stressed to try to get you from here to there for practice and game here and practice and game there. Like, you need a thing.
Yes.
And I've you try to guide them, but you want them to be happy. So, and I've told her frequently, like, if you decide that this or that is your thing, then you try it. You keep going. You practice, you try to get better, and you do what you can. But I've also told her, like, from an outside view, you are a very above average, if not phenomenal, soccer player. She has played indoor soccer and outdoor soccer and just stunned some people on defense.
Yeah.
She's a very good striker.
Nice.
And she's good at defense too. But you know, she's very good at all the sports that she picks up as long as she applies herself. And I feel like that's something that most kids have is it's not so much, and I'm not saying natural skill isn't part of it, but it's how much are you willing to apply yourself to be good at a young age?
Right.
You know, and for me,
soccer
it
is
there.
A lot of running.
Yeah.
And I am not a runner.
Yeah.
I was established early on, not a runner.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was soccer, but it was never super competitive. It's just like, I like playing soccer. And I can deal with playing a smaller league, practice once or twice a week, game on the weekend kind of deal. You know, my brother played practice every day after school and 4 games on the weekend.
I mean, your brother played in high school.
Yeah, he played in high school. And technically, I played in high school, too. I just played for, you know, a pay-to-play recreational league.
Right, but he played varsity along with another friend of ours.
Yeah.
Like, through high school. I don't think he got the college scholarship or anything, or I don't think he wanted that necessarily.
Yeah. But
he did do it through high school, which is, if you do a sporting event through high school, I mean, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, that's just
there's all kinds of
crazy. Even and then you get to college and it's like, my goodness, you have achieved something.
All right, so we took a quick break.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. We have new beers. I am drinking the cerveza, smoked cerveza to be precise. And what are you drinking?
I am now drinking the West Side Missing Link, which you told me all about.
I told you the history.
It piqued my interest enough I had to try it, and I will say it is very good.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It kind of has a little bit of funk, but not too much.
Yeah, it's not. Man, it is hard to explain without getting it to you.
It's hard to describe for sure.
Yeah, it's a very. I mean, if this is how the 1800s tasted, I wouldn't mind going back.
I mean, this is the yeast that they found.
Yeah.
I don't know that they. You know, it's hard to say, right? It's history.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's so much we don't know about this yeast.
Oh yeah.
But they did harvest it, and we talked all about Missing Link in our previous episodes, so please go back and check that out. But this is, of course, the West Side version of it. There's a bunch of other versions that you can check out as well. Let's move on to your middle child, the really big baby that we talked.
11 pound, 6 ounce baby. And
yeah, we
currently
talked anonymously. We talked about a friend who had a baby who was over 10 pounds.
Oh yeah.
And we were like applauding her, right?
Because
it's
that was that was us.
Like,
yeah.
That was you guys, right?
11 pounds, 6 ounces. Yeah, he was a bruiser. And I gotta tell you, like, my first baby experience after becoming a father was odd because I didn't get that fragile baby fit. You know, when you hold a newborn, a 7 pound or 8 pound, 6 pound baby, you don't get that fragile experience with a baby. Like, I got my son, I'm like, this is a man. This is a small man already.
Right, yeah.
He obviously he wasn't. He was a baby, and he was still just as fragile as every other baby. But he was a big boy, and you didn't feel like, he was in imminent danger of breaking, and you still don't because he's, I want to say last time I checked, he's like 44 inches tall and 51 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Oh my God.
He's 3.
He's 3, yeah.
He's the size of your average 5-year-old.
What percentile is that?
Beyond 99.
Yeah. He's off the charts. I mean, I've always been off the charts.
Yeah.
According to my mom. And my brother has too. And my sister has been on the very high end of the charts. Let's say 95 percentile for a girl.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with that. My family is huge.
Man. And it's the craziest thing now, too. I don't know. He's all about his old man, me, his dad being, we're fixers. That's what we are to the household anymore, is like, something breaks. Don't worry, Mommy. Daddy and I can fix it. We're fixers.
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Oh, my
it's
God.
the best. Oh, my gosh. It makes your heart just sing with joy when he's like, oh, we can fix it, Mommy. It's like, I'm sorry, Mikey. Sorry. I don't know if we can fix it, buddy.
Yeah, some stuff can't, be fixed.
Yeah.
But by trade, you are a fixer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, by trade, I am a diesel mechanic. I'm a certified automotive mechanic, certified transit bus mechanic, and
it's crazy.
I'm
definitely
best
not
to get his
that,
hands
so
on tools.
Props to you. But what was it like? You briefly mentioned it. What was it like less than a year later, or maybe a year later, being a father of two? Like, what was that like? That's crazy.
That
chaos, I'm sure.
It was hard to find, where. Yeah, it was chaotic. I mean, you never know because you've got
and they're so different, right? They have such different needs,
interests. But then it's different needs. Yeah, that's the best way.
Yeah.
But then their interests through their mother and I are very similar when it comes to sports and hobbies and things and what they want to do. And truthfully, I almost feel like maybe it was a hair easier because as they got older together, my oldest daughter, she could assist me to a certain point.
She was interested, at least.
She loves her brother. She loves her little sister. She's everything to them, and they're everything to her. Like she wants to be their teacher, and I think that's a huge part of she wants to be their teacher. She wants to be there for them. Sometimes she wants to be there too much.
Yeah,
but.
Of course.
She's there. And it's one of those things, and now in the situation where she's 11, it's, I'm not leaving them all alone, but I can come home and I can say, hey, turn on a good cartoon for your brother and sister, watch them for 5-10 minutes so that I can jump in the shower because, Mom's at work. I just got home from work. Obviously, with my trade, being a diesel mechanic, I'm filthy coming home from work.
Right, you have all sorts of stuff.
And I get home, I come out of the shower, and she's sitting there in the chair, and her brother and sister are both. One of them's sleeping on her shoulder, and one of them's sleeping in her lap. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, I turned on a cartoon, and we all cuddled up in the chair, and they fell asleep, and now I'm trapped. Can you get me out from underneath here? And I'm like, sure. And a big thing for us, too, they both fall asleep, and I try not to expose the younger two to it, and I'm sure you appreciate this, but we get a huge kick out of everything Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I
love Star Wars. Yeah.
And yesterday specifically, I got home from work, grabbed a quick shower, and I was like, hey, your brother and sister are sleeping. You want to go watch Obi-Wan? Because that's the latest thing that we have not been able to watch yet.
Yeah.
And she was like, yes, please, let's go. So we went, sat down in a chair together, watched that. We've been through.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Star Wars every way it's been released, and Star Wars every way chronologically now, including The Mandalorian, and yeah.
Have you watched the Clone Wars series?
Is that the
animated one?
No, we have not done that yet.
You should do that, but
Okay.
you should watch it in the order. You have to look up the order.
But
George Lucas's brain. This was the Clone Wars started when George Lucas was still on the company.
Yeah.
After all the prequels were
Yeah.
done. It started in 2009, 2010 ish. But his brain doesn't work in chronological order.
Yeah.
So there's a certain order that you should go in.
Yeah.
It's not required, but
well, I mean, it'd be an interesting way to watch it, though.
And I feel like I have a very strong opinion about the prequels. Everyone does.
I know you have a much stronger opinion than I do.
Well, I mean, if you just look at episode 1, 2, and 3,
yeah,
without any of the expanded novels or the Clone Wars series, it's like the the second movie is titled Attack of the Clones, but the clones were in like what, the last 10 minutes
Yeah.
of the movie?
Yeah, they weren't there very long.
And then, of course, they mentioned the Clone Wars, and between episode 2 and episode 3, there's like 3 years missing.
Yeah.
And the Clone Wars animated series really solidifies... I'm a writer. I'm a nerd. I'm sorry.
Here he goes.
It really solidifies Anakin's character as far as his animosities toward the Jedi Council and why he would, you see him slaughtering little children,
Yeah.
which is very hard to watch, right?
Yeah, that is a hard part to...
But why would he do that? If you just watch episode 1, 2, and 3, there's no
The
reason.
context is
There's no
definitely
reason.
not there.
There's
Yeah,
no
I
reason,
agree with
right?
you. Yes.
Like, it happens too quickly, right? You can't tell that story in a movie
Yeah.
necessarily. But if you watch the Clone Wars, it kind of gives him a, like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but
A backstory.
it gives a good backstory about why the Jedi Council
why he
sucks.
is the way he is. Why he thinks. His psychology.
His psychology, exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying is correct. It's definitely not correct.
No, it's definitely twisted.
And it's twisted, but it, according to the story that George Lucas put out, of course, it had to happen, right? He had to become Lord Vader.
Yeah.
And Lord Vader is a bad person.
Yeah. My birthday was this past weekend on the 4th. Man, she made me the cutest card. She, on top of really being especially very good at soccer, I will not ever knock how good she is at soccer. It is very impressive. But
I think it's impressive for me to run from one side of the field to the other. Personally.
But she's also a great artist. And I don't know if that's because of me or not, because after my wife and I got married, she found my old art sketchbook and was really interested in some of the stuff that I had done in there. But anyway, coming back to my birthday, she does this thing all the time. She makes cards for everybody. She made me a card, and she drew herself, her brother, and her sister, all as little perfect scale little stormtroopers on the front of this card.
Nice.
And the I can't remember exactly the words she put in it, but it was just the cutest thing ever. And her and her sister had little bows on her stormtrooper helmets.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'll have to send you a picture of it.
Okay.
Because it was just that good. And it's not the first time. Her art, when it comes down to it, is, I wish it was, and if she goes for it, she goes for it. Whatever she wants to do. I'm not ever going to knock my kids for wanting to try this, that, or the other thing. But, her art it far outweighs what I was able to do in high school. And I don't know if that's because I applied myself to art here and there, but
I did not. I haven't taken an art class since 8th grade.
She is on the level. I will tell you right now, she is on the level of art that I was able to achieve as a senior in high school, being 11. I mean, there is a very good chance that she could pursue a career in art and be extremely successful.
And in this digital world, she is actually using a pencil, right? She is.
Oh yeah,
she's
pencil,
sketching.
crayon.
She's not using technology, which is I feel like it's going away, right?
Yeah,
the whole print
everybody,
thing.
Everything ends up on an iPad or
they sell digital sketches, sketchboards where you can plug it into your iPad and you can have a digital pencil and you can.
I mean, who knows? She might. I don't even completely understand how it works, but she could have a future in just making NFTs.
All right, we are back.
And we're back with the Big Mac attack. Sorry, I always wanted to say that.
That was your nickname. Thanks, Quizon.
It's been my nickname all over. Mac Attack, Mac Diesel, Big Mac, you name it. It's been said.
Well, how is that beer? We're still drinking the same thing.
It is very good. I don't know. I got nervous when you said something about a sour flavor, but then I started drinking it. It's like, man, this is...
Well,
it's such a unique flavor now that I don't even know how to describe it yet.
So when I said sour, I meant that Urban Artifact specializes in sours, and the thing that makes it sour is the wild yeast. This is more probably of a Belgian.
Yeah, it's much tamer.
It's definitely not sour, but it's kind of has a little funk to it.
Just the faintest hint of like.
But it's not overpowering.
No, not at all. And that's where I find that I think it's very drinkable, and it's a pretty good presentation from West Side for sure.
Yeah, and if you
can't say that I've ever had a beer from West Side yet that I've been disappointed with, to tell you the truth.
I mean, Colin does fantastic work.
Their beer.
He's the head brewer.
Is he?
Yeah.
Colin, you're my hero.
We were talking about kids,
We were
but
talking
you
about
have
kids.
another.
I've got
So you have your oldest.
3 of them. We've kind of hit on my eldest, my middle child, my son. Then there's my youngest daughter. Just the cutest little thing you could ever see. Ever. I mean, she... oh, gosh. She did this thing when I came home from work today where she would fall on her butt on the floor and hold her hand up and Daddy, pick me up. Daddy, up. Daddy, up. And I grab her hand and pick her back up. Fall back on the floor.
Oh,
Daddy, up. Daddy, pick me up. And we did this for probably at least 10 minutes. And it's one of those, every time you know, I'm sure you've felt this before. Or maybe it's just me knowing how things go when your children get older now, having an 11-year-old. But when she reaches for your hand and goes, Daddy, up, it's like, please don't ever stop this.
Yeah.
I love it.
Man.
At some point, it's like, okay, kid, we might need to stop, but please don't ever stop.
Yeah, that's...
That feeling
knowing
is
what you
just-
know from an 11-year-old, almost a teenager, who's, most likely going to be like,
Yeah.
Dad, you're embarrassing me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like that's common.
Dad, you're embarrassing me. Dad, why can't I wear this out of the house? And it's like, my goodness.
I mean, that's coming,
But
right?
but yeah, it's coming.
And then you have
But
this,
you still got to find those moments in there where, you know, specifically even just this weekend, for example, where the whole family went fishing and I was there helping my oldest, helping my youngest, helping my middle child, my boy, you know, helping my wife catch some fish. And we were just, everybody was getting along and having a good time. And it's those moments where it's just like this magical, we got this figured out, you know, like,
where everything is kind of not chaos.
yeah, everything is not chaos-ish.
I mean, it is chaos.
It's chaos,
but it's controlled.
but it's good chaos.
It's controlled chaos.
It's, you know, it.
I mean, this is what we signed up for, right?
Yeah,
You're kind of
exactly.
used to it with a big family, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a big family, and every Christmas is chaos.
Oh,
Every Thanksgiving.
Christmas
chaos.
is, yeah. Jeez. Our
Anymore,
house is crazy.
I mean, but I have those memories, nevertheless, right?
Yep. Well, and you know, and in the extended family category, going back to that real quick, like, you know, our family vacations always used to consist of, my dad was one of 3 brothers.
Yeah.
And our family vacations always used to consist of my dad and his family, me and my 3 little brothers, my mom and dad, my uncles, my 2 uncles, and both of them had 3 kids. One of them 3 kids, one of them 4 kids, sorry. And then my
no
Oma
one's
and,
keeping track.
No. A lot of people. And then my Oma and Opa, which for those that don't know is German for grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
You know, our family vacations normally consisted of approximately like 20 to 21, 22 people. And this was something that went on for years and years and years. And it's something that's always stuck with, like, you always had somebody to go to talk to. You always had somebody to, you know, hey, I want to go to the ocean. Oh, I'm going to go swim in the ocean too. Oh, I want to go up to the pool. Yeah, I'm going to go up to the pool too. You know, my Opa is really, my grandpa was the first one that really started teaching me when I was younger how to swim in a pool.
Oh, that's cool.
In Myrtle Beach. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's those kind of memories, and it's those kind of things that I strive for my kids too. You know, we're going on vacation this year, And vacation this year consists of, and I've tried to make sure everybody's cool with it and everybody seems cool with it, but vacation this year consists of my wife and I have our own condo with our 3 kids, along with her mom and dad and her sister, my sister-in-law. My mom and dad have their own condo with my 3 younger brothers and my youngest brother's wife, and sometimes my next closest brother's best friend, Rod. He comes from time to time.
Yeah.
And sometimes his girlfriend too. And then on top of that, like my aunt and uncle, like, I think we're probably going to be pushing. Oh, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are going to be coming on this next vacation too with their 3 little girls. Like, dude, we're going to be pushing another 20 plus people on the beach this year. And I am so stoked that we're going to have that big family experience. Like, it doesn't matter in which way, shape, or form we're related. It doesn't even matter if we're related. Like, these are the people that we call family for one reason or another. And we're all going to be on vacation together, sitting on a beach, you know, beers popped open and just enjoying a good time. I'm pumped.
And as a kid, you don't even know that, you know, your family's drinking.
No. And as a kid, too, it's just, you know.
You just need to let them be kids, right?
Yeah, we used to dig a trench in the beach and let the waves roll up in it and fill it up, and we'd swim in a hole on the beach. You would
fight the waves. You would build a wall and build a castle. And be like, no, don't destroy my...
Yeah. Get back, ocean.
Yeah. And then the ocean would always win because that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. We went... We took Lily to the beach in 2020. So before Elliot. Where are you guys going?
We're going to Navarre Beach, which they call
Florida's
best kept secret. It's on the Panhandle. It's about an 11-hour drive from Cincy.
And we do drive because we're West Siders, right?
Oh, yeah. We drive.
Yeah.
Well, we drive in 2 days. We'll probably make about...
you would have to.
2/3 of the drive. Yeah, exactly. We'll make about 2/3 of the drive in the first day and 1/3 of the drive in the second day, and then we'll finally be there, and then we'll try to come back in one day. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I will get a hotel anywhere between Florida and Bowling Green. If we make it to Bowling Green and the kids are freaking out still, I'm going to buy earplugs. We're going to make it back to Cincy.
I will correct my previous statement. We brought both Elliot and Lily to the beach.
Yeah.
Elliot was a 3-month-old little kid, and he did not like the wind.
Oh, no.
We went to Myrtle Beach, Surfside Beach, north of Myrtle Beach. When are you going?
We're going the beginning of August, from like a Wednesday to a Wednesday, to make sure that we don't have to drive through any crazy traffic, because we're true Midwestern Cincinnatians, West Siders.
So 3 kids.
Oh, yeah.
So how has that dynamic worked? You have, of course, an 11-year-old. You have a almost 4-year-old and a
almost 2-year-old.
Almost 2-year-old. So how has that relationship formed between the 3 kids?
So my oldest, she's at this point that she, like, it's weird. She almost wants to mother my children.
Yeah.
And you have to remind her place, but at the same time, like, you see this in your child, and you're like, this is where I know that I've been doing right, because, you know, she's caring, she's loving towards them.
She tries to mimic you.
She wants to mimic me and my wife. She wants to be, you know,
responsible.
The source.
She sees your responsibility, and she wants
she wants to be a foundation for the younger 2.
Yeah.
Is a great word for it. You know, she really does a good job of it. However, you know, the preteen thing's coming, and on occasion she gives her mother and I some attitude that needs to be kept in check. But there's that. And then, you know, my middle child, my son, and my youngest daughter, they're all loving and very good friends towards each other. But my middle child and my boy and my daughter, my youngest 2, they absolutely love each other. And it's just the cutest way, to the point that one of them will fall asleep in the chair in the living room. The other one, it doesn't matter which one, will get tired and crawl up next to him and pat the other one and just be like, night night, and fall asleep right next to each other. Like, holding hands back to back, just holding each other in some way, shape, or form. They absolutely love each other. And it is the cutest thing that will ever melt your heart.
Yeah. I mean, Lily and Elliot have their moments.
Yeah.
Lily is a little bit too aggressive.
Don't get me wrong. My kids also have their moments where it's like they want to kill each other. But
well, no, I was saying that they have their moments in that Lily is almost too loving, right? She hugs, but she hugs in the neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you can't do that. But we do this thing now where she, of course, wakes up first, and we're trying to do the potty thing, right? We put her on the potty first and foremost, and sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't. Most of the time she doesn't. But then Elliot wakes up, our youngest.
Yeah.
And she is the one who knocks on his door. We always tell her to knock on the door, right? But she knocks on the door and she opens the door and she walks in, and Elliot his face just lights up, and it's like, sissy. Lily, of course, is almost 3. She wants what she wants, but she still, I feel like she has that motherly quality, right? She loves her baby brother, and she calls him Bubba because when she was little, she couldn't say brother. She called him Bubba, which is the most adorable thing ever, right? So there's just something to it, right? A big sister and her baby brother. They love each other.
I mean, just from our situations, that sibling, I don't know, being the oldest child especially is like, you're the protector and you're part teacher but at the same time you're part law.
Right.
Sorry. I had to throw that in there. But
no, I mean,
like, listen here, I'm going to put you in a headlock if you don't shape up.
No, you described your oldest daughter and her relationship to her younger siblings, and there's a significant age gap, and I feel that as someone who is 10 years older than my sister, right? I feel that very deeply. And my mom worked in the basement back in the day, but I was the one who, during the summer, I had to watch my younger sister, who is 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel that. And I was 11, 12. I was, your oldest daughter's age.
Yeah.
But of course, Mom was always in the basement to bail me in.
To bail you out.
Yeah.
But I feel like that almost, like, going back to something we were talking about earlier, and I don't remember if it was on or off, but, younger people our age specifically, and in their 20s having kids, it's like, you don't have to do this alone. You have your parents, you have your grandparents, you have your brothers and your sisters that all get to help. And not only that, but eventually you get to the point that you have your kids that help with your kids, And you're going to see that eventually too with Lily and Elliot. And if you have another kid in the future, potentially, like, I'm sure Lily is going to be a big teacher.
Oh, for sure.
And she's going to know, like, the right from the wrong and what mom and dad expect,
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Although she's testing us as a 3-year-old already.
Yeah. Oh,
and you talk about 11-year-old, but...
I know. 3-year-olds, 10-year-olds, they're all going to test your patience.
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to get through the potty stage.
I remember the potty with my boy.
But she's a, she's a great big sister, and if we do have another one, she's gonna be a big,
big sister,
a great big sister to that one too.
Yep. I'll tell you right now, my wife and I aren't even opposed to maybe just one more. We'll see what comes along. Yeah, we got to get a new house first. There's got to be room for all these kids.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Once you have 1 and 2 and you start fighting 3, it's like, forget it. A 4th one, just throw it in there. Like, we can handle another kid. But, and it's almost one of those things too where, I've grown up in a family with 3 younger brothers that you almost want the same experience, and I'm sure you see this too. You almost want the same experience for your kids that you had with your siblings.
Yeah, because
where
that's what you know, right?
Yeah, you have all this support, and you have, my brothers and I have had so many conversations with each other that have gotten so deep into relationships and finances and anything under the sun, that to have that kind of support system, you want that for your kids. And eventually you have the kids, and it's like, well, I remember this with my brother and sister. My wife is one of 5. She's one of one more than me. She has, yes, an older sister, an older brother, an older sister, then her, then a younger brother.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Did I do that math right? Yeah, she's one of 5. And she has the greatest support system with her brothers and sisters, too, that you almost just want that for them. You want the same experience and help. And
what did you think being a dad would be like versus what is it?
Truthfully, I thought it was going to be way easier, and I was going to correct every mistake I ever thought my dad made. I'm sorry, Dad. And it was never any of that. It was always calling my dad and saying, man, you were right. And I'm so sorry that I was a jerk son here and there.
All right, we are back. And thanks so much for coming on. I feel like we have a monster episode, so this is fantastic.
Oh, well, we have the history, too. We could keep going.
We could. We'll have to have you back. But with Caroline here, too.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to shove the kids off onto the grandparents.
Oh, maybe we could get my wife in, too.
Would she be comfortable with that?
I think so. I think she'd be fine.
I mean, we have a whole
We get a night together someplace, get a couple of beers flowing, and she'd be rocking.
So my mother-in-law gave my children landline phones, but she took the batteries out or whatever. So they both have their own landline phone. And apparently Lily is attached to it as anyone is, as I'm sure your daughter is experiencing right now.
Oh, yeah.
So let me go back to your oldest daughter. She's 11. She is in middle school.
Yes.
I guess is the term.
6th going into 7th grade currently.
So how do you police the whole cell phone, social media game? Because I will be honest with you, this terrifies me.
I will tell you right now, it absolutely terrifies me too. And the way things are currently worked is about a year ago, I got her a cell phone. I got her Palm. Yeah, I don't know if you remember Palm. Still makes a cell phone. Yeah, remember Palm made like the Palm Pilot?
No.
Where they make like this mini cell phone almost.
Okay.
It's a touchscreen. It's a full Android phone. But it's perfect for a small person's hand, because that's another problem they have nowadays. Look at my phone. This is 6.5 inches from corner to corner. Like, my daughter can never use this with one hand. I can barely use it with one hand. I have a short, fat hand. You've got a longer hand than I do, obviously. But, reach your thumb across and tell me that doesn't feel like a stretch.
I know. Well, this phone, the phone that I have, is 3 years old. We got this before Lily was born.
Well, I just got mine, yesterday, I guess.
There was a whole
finally
trend of small phones, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's when the Palm phone came out.
And then now you have these huge phones, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
6.5, 6.8, 7 inches. It's at what point do you put a tablet in your pocket? And I know they started making folding phones that turn into tablets, and it's like, everybody just calm down.
I know.
I just need to be able to make a phone call, send a text to my wife, and maybe check my bank account and, on occasion my Facebook account and email.
I don't even have Facebook on my phone.
Yeah.
I log in via the browser.
But, so anyway, back to my daughter. The way it works out is she has this little Palm phone, and Google does this thing called Family Link, where my phone is always linked to the GPS location of her phone, as long as it has battery when she remembers to charge it. Little girl, you need to remember.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. Anyway.
No, I mean,
But,
this is something that, as a father of two,
yes.
a almost 3-year-old,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well,
of, right?
and I'm sure it's very similar for boys too, but father of a girl, the anxiety is even greater. Yes, the way her phone works right now is that she can essentially check the weather, she can send text messages, and she can make phone calls. That's how far I have it nerfed down, so that, and it's a full-blown Android phone. Like, she could do whatever she wanted to on it, internet-wise and whatnot. Like, she has all that capability. Actually, it has the GPS is very open too, because I want her to be able to find where she is and figure out where she needs to go. But as it stands right now, 11 years old, I didn't even have my first phone until I was in 8th grade. 12, 13 years old.
8th grade, it was a brick.
Yeah, and exactly.
Yeah.
When I first got my first phone, it was Cincinnati Bell, and it was a Nokia 1100. Look it up. The best feature it ever had was a flashlight, and you could play Snake.
Snake, exactly. I was going to say that. Snake. That was the best feature. And if you sent a text message, it cost, 50 cents or whatever.
Exactly. Well, I think I had
per
like
text.
100 texts sending and receiving, and then it started charging. And my dad got real mad the one time I met a girl, and I sent like 200 texts, and I'm sorry, Dad.
Well,
but
I mean, my parents got pissed
yeah.
during the Germany trip.
Oh yeah. Well, those Germany texts, boy.
No.
Whew, they were like $1.50 a piece.
No, those Germany
Or was it the phone
those
calls?
Germany voicemails
Ooh,
and phone calls
yeah.
that everyone... Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
I was nice enough to let everyone use my phone.
I may have used your phone once or twice.
Well,
I do remember that. And I used our dance teacher's phone once or twice too.
My mom left a voicemail on my cell phone, and I kept trying to check the voicemail, and it didn't work. So,
Yeah.
the when I called to the voicemail, because
Mhm.
back then you had to call.
Yeah.
There's an app on my phone. I don't even have to call anymore, but
Yeah.
but back then you had to call to get to your voicemail, and that call cost money when you're in a foreign country
Hmm?
in 2006. And there was it was a big bill. Let's put it that way.
I'm going to come back to that real quick on big bills, but I'm going to finish where we were first.
So sure.
Remind me to come back to that real quick because I have an interesting story.
Sure.
But, yeah, my daughter's phone is nerfed down very far. She can send text, she can receive text, she can make phone calls to people who are approved. And my phone has like an overbearingly crazy ability to monitor what happens. She also has an iPad, which is not as super protected, but I also have the router set up. Like, she's not allowed to have internet access before 8 o'clock, before she goes to school. Why do you need to get on the internet before school? If you need to get on the internet before school, her school provides Chromebooks. Get on the internet and check whatever you need to do for school through that. School nights, not allowed to be on the internet past like 8:30.
Okay.
Weekends, 10 o'clock. And it's also not going to change through the summer either, because I want her to be on that same schedule where it's like, look, this is Wednesday evening. There's no reason you need to be rummaging through Pinterest or whatever you want to do on your iPad, playing Roblox at 9 o'clock in the evening. Like, come out here and sit on the couch with your mother and I and enjoy watching a little TV like my mom and dad did with me. It's not that hard. And she wants dessert. It's like, grab a little bit of ice cream if you really want, as long as you're not getting crazy. Like, come spend time with us. That's one of those. It's like, lock it down. Like, I think the important thing is just to make sure that your kids don't replace family time with screen time, because screen time it is good in some sense where they can get a lot of experience with certain things. Like, my boy gets some experience with math and reading and writing and what little games he plays here and there.
Sesame Street. My
Exactly.
my daughter is almost 3. She knows her
Yes.
colors. She knows how to count.
Exactly.
She knows how to count up to 20.
But the important thing, and I think something that gets lost in parents today, is that they don't realize that it's not, these games aren't going to teach your kids how to be the people you want them to be. You got to step up.
Right.
And you got to say, look, this is who I am. This is who I don't want you to be, who may or may not, and we're not going to go there, but maybe I've not been the greatest here, there. I'm sure you've got moments you don't want your kids to know about, but this is where I've been so good that I need you to try to replicate this. Like, I want you to
You have the experience.
Yes.
And you know that.
Here I am. Here are all the good things
Yeah.
that I have ever shown anybody, experience that I've given away to other people, and this is what I want you to give away to other people and to give to yourself so that you can make better decisions than me and continue to accelerate in such a way that you can be better than who I am.
Right.
Because nobody's perfect.
No, exactly.
But
And this brings me to the question of what is a father and what does a father give to his kids? And and not even father. What does a parent give to his kids?
yeah.
And it always comes back to, I want my kids to have a better life than I do.
Exactly.
And this is a parent and our grandparents who have a similar history in the Donauschwaben. You know, World War II, they left their homeland via force,
Yeah.
essentially. Or they left before the force came.
Mm-hmm.
Or our parents who were first generation, who spoke, his first language might have been
Yep.
English.
My dad's first language until he was 5, when he was living in Price Hill with my Oma. Well, my Opa was in the Army, was German.
Right. And my dad, too. He won't admit it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he doesn't speak it, but he understands it for sure. And my aunt, she will tell you that she could speak it,
Yeah.
you know, because she's older than my dad. But it's always, as a parent, as a father, you always want to have your children have a better life than you.
Yeah. You want to identify the better parts of yourself and give that to them, while simultaneously recognizing the mistakes that you've made in your past, and maybe not so much burying those away, but revealing them to your children at a time that is appropriate, that helps them realize that, look, nobody's perfect. You've made a mistake too, but you need to look past it and figure out how to move beyond it.
Exactly.
So that you can be a better person as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we cracked it.
Yeah.
As far as this
It
fatherhood
might be
thing.
spottily raining on us as well as we're sitting here in the park.
Yeah. So, Mac, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, sir.
We are going to move on to our other segment. So this is the next segment. This is Joe's Dad Joke of the Week. Because as a dad, I feel obligated to tell a dad joke every episode. And I haven't told 60 plus dad jokes. We started like episode 10. So, Mac, are
Yes,
you
sir.
ready for this?
I'm ready.
Why do melons have weddings?
I don't know. Why do melons have weddings, Joe?
Because they can't elope. Did you hear the rumor about butter?
No.
Well, you better not spread it.
Gosh. My kids are going to hate me when I get home.
That does it for this week's show. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Craft Parenting Podcast on all those platforms. You can also get a hold of us via email, which is craftparentingpodcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast or your podcaster of choice. Make sure to share the show. It really helps our show grow. If you would like to send us stuff such as fan mail, craft supplies, or sanity, We have a P.O. box, and all this information is available on our website, which is www.craftparentingpodcast.com. And that's where we post the show notes. Plus, we are writing blog posts about some of the stuff that doesn't make it into the podcast. And Mac, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Joe.
I appreciate that. And the beer that you bought and the stuff that I,
Oh, yeah.
I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And talking about fatherhood and dadhood and all the challenges.
I can keep going anytime you want.
Yeah. We'll have to have you back. It was a great conversation. So with that, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Craft Parenting Joe. And with that, I'm Joe.
I'm Mac.
See you next time on the Craft Parenting Podcast. And sorry, you don't have to apologize. There's actually a podcast called Shift Beers.
And they just burp in the microphone.
Yeah, they do.
What?
That's their thing.
Look me up. I got some wicked burps. Don't spill my beer. Why do I keep falling? Stop falling.
Well, these aren't the most expensive.
It's all right.
These might be the cheapest. I don't know.
You just need a little twist on this Phillips head here, and she won't fall.
Okay.
Do you care if I give it a twist?
Well, I mean, you would have
I have a pocket knife on me at all times. Oh, look at that. She's a beaut.
All right, so let's do
Are we in?
Can I dance?
You can
Sorry.
dance. There's no live stream.
Imagine dancing. Continue.
Mac is dancing.
Last segment.